What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and this is the Thunder Channel on nootropics and a lot of other stuff. I'm on the go today, and I want to quick talk about the 5 things that happen when you supercharge your testosterone. Like when you take your set point from where it is and you start surging testosterone in. It starts hitting all the receptor sites, all the ARs in the brain, the junk, your muscles, and everywhere else that the ARs exist. It'll dramatically change the way that you function as a man. So let's talk about it. In the meantime, guys, go to livecortex.com. Just launches the Alpha Male Superclass. This is the kind of course you want to get if you want to supercharge your testosterone, first of all, right? Because there's a test protocol in it. But secondly, like your A game as a guy. You know, what is your mission in life? How regimented are you? How do you eat? We discuss protocols in which eating for energy is the primary objective. And if you execute the protocols in the Alpha Male Superclass, your energy will change for the better. So get the AM Superclass, livecortex.com. It is an hour and 45 minutes long. Testosterone Superclass launching in probably about 2 weeks, so look forward to that. All right, so let's talk about this. Look, if your set point for testosterone is between 250 and 400 nanograms per deciliter, you have a problem. Okay, I don't care what doc says, because doc is going to tell you if you're 299 that you're in normal ranges, right, of testosterone. Doc is going to tell you if you're 400 nanograms per deciliter on total test, your test is normal, it's within range. That is not true, right? The goal isn't to be normal on testosterone, the goal is to be optimal. And when you become optimal with serum test, right, the test that is available for you to use, the test that's not bound to sex hormone binding globulin or albumin, the test that you can use, it will change your life as a man. First thing that happens when you raise your set point and you start surging testosterone into the picture is you get incredibly hungry, ravenously hungry. Okay, so I'm on a test protocol now. I go in and out of protocols, cycling, if you will, right? Test cycles, not of actual TRT, but of strategies, all nutraceutical and then otherwise dietary strategies to raise my own endogenous testosterone. And I'm hungry as hell. I'm hungry all the time. I want to eat everything that I see. So I've got to be careful, right? Because you can really put on calories. But the great thing is when you're supercharging your test, your calories tend to go more toward building muscle if you are lifting weights or working out at some capacity. So just because at this point, like I've worked on getting leaned out over the last 6 months, basically just cutting a lot of body fat and seeing what was left over from a bulk. And I'm, I'm happy with it, right? But just surging my test and then working out a little bit makes the extra calories that I eat when I am ravenously hungry, because I'm surging test, store more toward like muscle mass and like being lean as opposed to getting fat from it, which is really, really interesting. So that's number one. Your appetite is going to go through the roof. When your set point is low and you're used to having pretty low tests, and then you dramatically increase it. I'm not talking about marginal increases. When you dramatically increase your set point on test, you get ravenously hungry. The second thing that happens when you supercharge your test from your initial set point, from where you're used to being, which is that instead of like when you eat in excess of calories, maybe 2-3 times a week, you go 200 to 400 calories in excess, instead of it going right to belly fat, right? That's where it's going to go if your test is not optimal. It's going to go right to stomach fat. Now, obviously you should be working out. You should be at the very least walking, push-ups, crunches. Like if you're not going to go to the gym, totally fine. But ideally resistance training. Your calories, when you go in an excess, when you're surging your test, do not go directly to belly fat, right? You don't just start putting on like chubby weight. It's the craziest thing. Like you lean out and the calories are going toward repair. Hopefully you're doing some degree of exercise, right? Because then the calories will go toward repair. They'll go to energizing you, right? They go to your muscle mass. You put on lean mass. Like your body is just hard when you supercharge your test. That doesn't mean that you can go in super excess in calories for like many days consistently, because that's a bad idea, right? Because you will gain weight, you will gain noticeable fat. But like on days where you go 200 to 400 calories above your normal baseline, and you're working out, instead of it just storing as body fat, it stores as lean body mass. And that is really awesome. The third thing that happens when you supercharge your test from your initial set point, from where you're used to being, is the mental visceral libido connection. That is like you getting triggered by the opposite sex or partner or whatever in your brain, and then that registering viscerally with you skyrockets. It skyrockets. Like it could be uncomfortable for people, right? Like if your test set point is relatively low and then you start surging it, your libido is going to go through the roof, right? Assuming you don't have major problemema like with HP access cascades, HPG, HPA, the HPTA in general, right? If there's not issues with gonadotropins, then surging test is going to skyrocket your libido. It's a really interesting and liberating place to be, especially if you're a guy. You know, when your libido has not been particularly high and, I don't know, you see people of the opposite sex or whatever you're interested in, and then you get no response or next to no response, like that's demoralizing. It's emasculating. When you raise your set past the set point it's used to and you start surging it, and hopefully you're optimizing the androgen receptors, that changes and your libido goes through the roof. It's shocking. If you're doing everything right, how libido changes. It's shocking. It could get to the point where it's like you become that guy. I don't know if you guys have ever watched like Ray Donovan. It's a show on Showtime, but Mickey Donovan, his dad, seems like the type of guy that just has raging libido. When he's around women, he's just that guy, who's like making fucking inappropriate jokes. And so that is number 3. Your libido goes through the roof, and it puts you in a place where you're like, wow, this is really interesting. I haven't felt like this since I was young. Fourth major thing that happens when you take your testosterone set point and you start raising it dramatically, you start surging your body with testosterone and you've optimized the ARs, is your energy to conquer things in life skyrockets. Like when you wake up in the morning, instead of being like, oh, fuck my day, and I guess I'll do this or that, or what's on the to-do list, or I have to go to work, or whatever. It doesn't matter, even if it's shit you hate. Like I know some of you hate your jobs, right? Having high test will change that. It just gets you to want to conquer things. Maybe you'll shoot for the promotion, which you should be shooting for, right? You're shooting for your boss's job. You always want to be moving up. We're going to talk about a lot of this. We do in the Alpha Male Super Class. So go get that thing at livecortex.com, because there's stuff we don't talk about on the channel. How I think about moving forward in life, performance, right? Getting shit done. But you just want to conquer things. This is number 4. When you surge your test, you have this energy, this masculine energy to conquer things and achieve things. Stuff that you're putting by the wayside that you're procrastinating on. You know why you're procrastinating on it? A good chance, if you got low tests, is you don't have enough serum testosterone. That's the hormone that makes you a guy, and it makes you a hard-charging, conquering type of person. That when there's stuff that you haven't been able to figure out, or that you need to figure out, or that you'd just like to advance upon in your life, when you surge testosterone above your set point, you want to conquer it. 5th major thing that happens when you surge your testosterone past your usual set point, what you're used to, is your mental energy goes through the roof. Your brain energy goes through the roof. No more walking around with fatigue. No more like 2 hours into your day, suddenly you're like, oh, I'm fatigued, my brain isn't working, I don't want to do anything. I'd rather sit down and watch TV or do nothing, right? Or engage in something that's a hobby, but it's not productive. Your brain energy changes when you surge testosterone past the set point, right? You don't get fatigued throughout the day. You just want to conquer stuff. If there are things that typically require a large reservoir of mental capacity for you to engage in them, and you usually don't have that mental capacity to engage in them, having high test when you surge it past your set point will give you that mental capacity. Now, nootropics are extremely useful in this arena too. But as a guy, if you're not used to having high test and you surge it, that will change your brain energy, right? All of these 5 things you notice in that initial period, and they tend not to go away. So as long as you're continuing to focus on testosterone and keeping it at that new set point, it just will overhaul your performance as a guy. You will want to eat a lot, so you have to be careful, but a lot of your calories are going to be stored toward lean body mass and muscle mass, especially if you're working out, your libido is going to go through the roof. Your inclination to want to conquer things is going to skyrocket, and your brain energy is going to be present. No more fatigue. That's one of the really interesting things when I work with guys raising testosterone, when I see people raising test, and when I am personally working on my own testosterone, is that my brain energy just skyrockets on top of what it already is, which is already good. Imagine that. Okay, so in the alpha male superclass, there is a testosterone protocol, and it's one of the most highly effective testosterone protocols in all of the protocols that I've run with men over the many years consulting guys on raising test. So don't think the alpha male superclass is strictly personal development, being regimented, finding a mission in your life, finding your inner alpha. All those things are radical, by the fucking way, dude. But there's also a testosterone protocol in there. Now it's very awesome. You should also get the testosterone superclass, which will launch in a couple weeks. That's going to be strictly testosterone. We're not talking about personal development. We're not talking about being a man. We're not talking about, you know, finding your inner alpha. We're talking strictly about testosterone in that superclass, but you should get both of them, okay? Go get the Alpha Male Superclass, livecortex.com, because that is what this is about. I mean, raising tests is an alpha thing, dude. Finding a mission in life is an alpha thing. You know, being regimented, going to bed, waking up at the same time, an alpha thing, right? Focusing on personal development, studying people that are successful, learning what they do, implementing that into your life, it's an alpha thing. Alpha Male Superclass, livecortex.com. Go get it. Look forward to the Testosterone Superclass launching in just a couple weeks, my friends. Those are the 5 things that happen when you surge your test. Make your life about surging test. It will change you as a man. Talk to you next time.